We've raised funding from the World Bank, from ECOWAS, Rest for Africa Foundation, Enel Green Power, European Investment Bank, and these people are not in Nigeria.
Fundraising, startup, everything you need to do to become investors ready.
More like you're doing something, you're doing a business in one environment or one ecosystem where everything is working in your favor. Everything is working together for your good, working together to see you succeed. You're building and growing from another environment, another ecosystem, where it looks as though everything is working together to see you fail.
Hey.
So the problem is not even to raise money. There are some businesses that failed because they raised money.
Beautiful.
So there are some persons, there are some entrepreneurs that if you give them 100 million naira now, that business will fold because they don't know what to do. They hire and hire wrong. They scale and scale too fast. They buy assets, they invest, they pivot, they do things that they're not supposed to do. So there are some businesses, if you go to set up graveyard, there's some business, their core failure, but the core thing that made them to fail was the money they raised. So post-funding journey is also most Nigerians are not employable, and people are screaming and shouting and saying, no, this, that. Please go back and do your research. Go back and do research. So don't play emotion. Don't apply emotion to this. Go and do research.
So I want us to talk about funding opportunities in Africa. I know you are big in this.
So we don't have a capital problem. What we have is a problem of businesses that cannot raise funding.
Wait, let me ask you something. Do I need structure before raising money? Or do I need to raise money and go and build structure?
Beautiful. Interesting question. We'll take it back to our education system. They're the ones that are churning out people that we cannot employ. So when you meet me and I send you this opportunity to go and apply for and get funding for your business, you think funding is your problem. Go and get funding for your business. This is an opportunity. It's open. Go and get it for your business. You come back and you tell me, they're asking for detailed reports. I don't know what it is. They're asking for TCC. They're asking for PENCON. They're asking for HR policy. They're asking for this. I don't know what it is. So who is the problem? Capital or the business?
The business.
Now, you don't have to be fully structure. Is a journey. It's a process.
It's a journey. Okay.
Yes, it's not something you just do one off and just do one way activation or subscription. Even as I'm building and growing my businesses, there are still some things that I know that are not fully in place that I'm still putting in place. But there are some basic things you need to do before you ever think of raising funding. See, the best of the best, whichever you want to put it, in Nigeria are all employed.
Are all employed? Whoa.
They are employed. The best are not looking for jobs.
In today's podcast, I'm speaking with one of the best in grant writing, fundraising, startup, everything you need to do to become investors ready. How do you attract investors? She has raised over $2 million. That's what? Close to 3 billion naira in today's market. I'm not trying to hype her. You're going to see the pictures for yourself. I have somebody I call Chiemela, the startup founder. She can start any business in anywhere, Nigeria, Niger, and outside this country. You don't have excuse. At the end of this podcast, you know where you are in your startup journey, and you know how to connect the dots and get to your first 1 million, 10 million USD. Join me, welcome Chiemela Anosike in this podcast today. Welcome, Her Excellency.
Thank you, sir.
So, Chiemela, you have a phenomenal story. You started from absolutely nothing, and you've been able to scale a business to a number. Tell me, how does it feel to own these ideas and see them grow?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here, to be doing this with you. And also thank you for that introduction. So I get this a lot of time. People introduce me and I show up. And the introduction doesn't match. It doesn't match the person. So the introduction usually is so big. And when I show up, so we did this project with the World Bank and ECOWAS, and we've just been exchanging mails, to and fro. So the day they saw me in person, that was in Gambia. The man was like, "Are you Chiemela Anosike?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "See, your portfolio doesn't match the person." I was expecting one big madam like that. So thank you so much, sir. And so to the question, how
does it feel to see these ideas grow, become real businesses?
Okay, so for me, it's something I love to do. I love to solve problems. It's something that it comes natural to me. And I wasn't born this way. I wasn't, born with this ability, with this skill. I built it over time. Over time, because I was born into, not to go over the pity story and all of that, but I was born into problems, and I didn't want that for myself. I had to find a way, get out of it. And along that line, I found out that if I can get to solve those problems, if I can get to solve, turn those problems into businesses, get ideas that will solve this problem, find a way to just work around it. I'll not just only escape from those problems. I'll make money while escaping from those problems.
Okay.
And I also tell the entrepreneurs I work with a lot, in Nigeria, across Africa, there are problems across different sectors, education, hospitality, hospitals, healthcare, different leadership, different. And if you can solve, you can just pick one instead of sitting down and whining with every other person and screaming how this one is happening, that one is happening. You can just pick one and solve and make money. So for me, I wanted to escape those problems. And it dawned on me that I can solve this problem. So you won't just escape. You have to find a way to solve them and then escape and make money, out of it. So that was the genesis of it. That was how I started, And this whole thing started 2020 after the lockdown.
Just 6 years down the line.
2020, after the lockdown, we were forced to work from home. Every one of us, we were forced to work from home. But then, of course, I know that a lot of persons lost their jobs that period. A lot of persons lost a lot of things because you are forced to work from home and you're living in a place where you don't even have access to electricity. You don't have access to internet. You can't, in fact, internet connectivity, energy, lighting, and all of that was a problem. And, it was also my case because how do you expect me to work from home? I can't even power my laptop. I can't even charge my phone. And I was working with an engineering company at the time. I started thinking, how do I design something that, can give me light? I don't have to buy the whole infrastructure because it was expensive. How do I design something that will just give me access to, light, to charge my phone and, still stay connected and work? And that was how it all started. We put together engineers and we designed something. I said, this is actually serving me. It can also serve other persons because almost other persons were, had similar problem. And for the 1 month we were at home, first 1 week, 2 weeks, people would just come out as a community, will complain about this problem. We'll play Lido, we'll play what, we'll do all of that. You can't even, it was expensive, even if you can afford it, it was expensive. So we just...
People are not earning money at that point too.
Exactly. So we just as a community will complain about the same thing, we whine over the same thing and all of that. And I just knew that, no, this is not my thing. I can't do this. I can't survive in such, So when I solved it, we designed our first booth and it solved my problem. I said, why not? I can also, render this service to, to someone else, to other people. We did one that we could commercialize and it worked. People started paying for it. And that was, the genesis. I said, so if I solve problem for these people, they'll give me money.
But this problem solving, I've read it in books, I've heard it. I also know some persons talk to me about this. It looks like mathematics in school days. We scare away from mathematics, some of us. And then this thing, it looks so big. When you say solve problem, what problem am I coming to solve? Oil. And I just get motivated, go into the oil business and I say, I need to do inventory, I need to buy this, I need to do this, I need to raise money. And then a lot of things, it doesn't come this simple like you just said, solve one problem, pick one problem and solve it. There's a lot of complexity. How do you manage all those complexity that you didn't see before going into the solving problem?
Okay, so one thing with problem solving is that, of course, you don't have to see the end from the beginning. Okay. You don't have to. Yes, it might appear complex. It might appear so big. You start from the known. You enter the unknown. So when I say solve problems, be innovative, add innovation, do this thing, it mustn't be complex. You mustn't be taking people to the moon. Leave that one for Elon Musk. You mustn't be, you don't have to build another SpaceX. Problem solving, innovation could come as simple as putting Milo in a sachet. It could come as simple as packaging Gary. I was a judge in one pitch competition recently, and one of the winners, she had this packaged Gary, granite, sugar, everything. It could come as simple as that. One of the early solutions we built was a solution for healthcare. So one of my sister gave birth to, had a baby, she was admitted to the hospital and all of that. So every now and then we were chasing nurses up and down from ward A to ward B, because if she has this IV infusion drip, so once the drip finishes, it takes blood back.
Yeah.
And as I was looking at that, I was thinking, instead of chasing these people up and down, is there any way we can design something that once this thing finishes, it just sends a signal to the nurse or the doctor on duty that this patient in room A, B, or room 2,
Before the thing finishes.
even before, so it can even send signals. Okay, this is 50% or 20% or 5% to finish. All of that, so that it solves that problem. So problem solving has to it starts from the mind.
Okay.
You have to be open-minded. It starts from the mind. You look at something, and when every other person is complaining, you're thinking, how do I get out of this? If I do this way. So my brain is always in that hyper mood. If I take this thing like this and put it this way, and do this like this and put it like this, and then you mentioned something about mathematics and calculation. Actually, when we go through school, we build this skill: critical thinking, analytical thinking, innovative thinking. So when you're passing through school and your mathematics, they're asking you, find X, find Y. If X is this, what would Y be? I see a lot of persons scream, school is scam, school is this. All of those X we are looking for, what are we doing with them? You weren't prepared. They weren't preparing you to come out and look for S and to do something with X. They were building some very critical life skills. Analytical thinking. That's why when people come to me, I'll charge you to do the thinking you are supposed to do. So when you go through that process, even in your university, they're asking you, give you a project topic, go out and ask questions and do this and do that. You just collect something and copy and give the lecturer money and finish up. You are supposed to build some skills that will stay with you in this process, not just the project you are going to do. So that process, if you miss it at that point, because by the time you find X, find Y, drug that scupper, you're building critical thinking skills, analytical thinking skills. So when you look at a problem, when you see something, your brain just get into work. Your brain is moving fast. You're thinking, what if I take this and put here and put here and put here? So it's also a skill that you build over time. And then how do you start to solve this problem? From your environment, the things you see every day. So for me, it was my auntie lying down, and I'm going up and down, and looking for nurses. I said, okay, what if we do this? And then growing up, my mom had this thing. I detest doing house chores. So my mom would tell me, by the way, I'm the last of 10 children. She tell me, how are you so lazy? You are this one. So for me, laziness also contributed, because I'm always looking for a way to solve some problems. I don't get to do it.
Do you think this is a gift that comes natural? Just like a musician sings, artists draw, and all of that. Don't you think this is a gift to certain people, not for everybody? Do you think it's in us?
So personally, I wouldn't see it as let's do a compromise. I would say 70-30. Because you also have to have some level of mental strength. You don't place something on nothing. So for some persons, you build it, they enter. It's not working. For some persons, you need some level of mental agility or mental, capacity at some point to be able to, but I honestly believe that talent is not enough anywhere, anytime, any day, quote me, anywhere. Whether you're born with this gift, you can build it. So whether you cultivated it or you went to the best schools, I didn't go to best schools. I didn't go to, I grew up.
You've not done MBS abroad and all of that.
I wasn't born in a. In fact, I went to a school that they were explaining English to you in Igbo. And this time you are in school, next time they're out of school, strike, and my mother will be so happy. So you help her in her trade. So I built it over time. I built it, I took time. And I so much believe that you can make out of your life anything you want, literally anything you want. The human brain, I've taken my time to study the human brain, the human mind, how it works. And I know that a lot of these brain cells are flexible. A lot of this, you can bend it, shape it, mold it, train yourself. You can, tell yourself, I want to be this in this, and you achieve it. So you can make out of yourself literally anything you want. So you don't necessarily need to be born with it. Or I grew up in my house. I never saw my mom and my dad speaking English.
At all.
Speaking English, not any of my elder siblings speaking it. So you still, maybe before we finish this, you see here the Igbo infusing in my English. So I look at myself, and of course there's always the God factor, but I look at myself and I know that for anything I made this Chiemela.
Come on.
I built this Chiemela you're looking at from scratch, brick by brick. I laid the foundation. I built. God has always been in the story, but I built. So I know that you can build. You can make out of yourself anything you want.
Come on. I like that. I like that. There's something we usually talk about a lot. Ideas graveyard. That is, for me, I believe is where a platform where you go and read up beautiful ideas that didn't make it to limelight.
Yeah.
And you know how to take business from just an idea to start up. So why some persons have say, oh, if I raise money, what I would build. Another person said, oh, now we have money, we don't know what to do, we're blowing our money in marketing. There's another person that is saying, I don't need anybody's money. I'm going to make sales from day one. I'm going to look at how do I. So which of these three categories of people you think investors should look into funding?
Okay, so like you mentioned, the idea startup graveyard, of course, have a lot of businesses that started, scaled due to one reason or the other, didn't make it to the public or failed at some point. So you go there, you find a lot of them, and there are a lot of factors that lead to business collapse or businesses file bankruptcy, which is one of the things that I always go over and over and cover, and so there's no one straight way or one straight equation or plug. I would say just put this plug or plug this and do this, and your startup would work and all of that. Now, for the category of people who say I need funding, I need money. If I have, they come to me. I meet a lot. I interact with them almost every day of my life. Coach, I have this beautiful idea. Once money enter my hand now, boom. And I tell them, see, no investor will give you money that way. No investor would, give you money because of that wonderful, beautiful idea that you have in your head. Gone are those days, 2019, 2020, 2018, you could find, some funding for idea stage businesses, but you rarely find that these days because you go there, you find beautiful ideas. When people come to me and say, how do I protect my idea? Protect what? You don't. One way to protect that is just to act, implement. Because ideas are cheap. As it's entering my head, it's entering your head, it's entering somebody's head. You wake up tomorrow, somebody has launched. There's that same thing that you said you want to launch. So those people stay so long with the idea, call it idea paralysis. They stay so long with the idea, fine-tuning, looking for idea. There's this teaching I do. I said, I always tell my entrepreneurs, build before you beg. The investor who is coming to give you money.
Before you beg.
Exactly. Wow. Build before you beg. Because the investor who is coming to give you money wants to see what you've done. They want to see what you've done. Do you have traction? They want to see what is your sweat equity? What have you as the founder? If you trust that, if that idea is so revolutionary, it will blow up the market. What have you put into it? What have you done? You're asking for my money. How much have you put into it? How much? Someone will go as far as asking you, how long have you worked on this idea? So for you, it's just that beautiful idea on paper and pen, and you are looking for somebody's money to put into it. So a lot of investors will not even look at you at that point. Now, there are also some other persons who will say, we're not looking for anybody's money. We're going to build we're going to bootstrap. We're going to build that is beautiful. From the word go, you bootstrapped, you've built, you laid all of the foundation, the systems, the structure, and you start making sales at that point. It's even easier to. So there are businesses that investors are the one looking for them to give them money.
That's the thing.
So investors are asking for a pie out of your business. They are chasing you. Some are chasing investors. Some are chasing funding. Others, investors are chasing them. They are reviewing.
I like that side.
They are reviewing. For one of my companies, we've reviewed some timesheets from investors and we say, no, we don't like this time. We don't like this one. We will not sign. We'll go back and forth. They will change. Okay, you say you don't like this one. Let's change it to this. They'll say this one. They say we want so and so equity. We say, no, we don't like it. We'll give this one. You're not just bringing equity you're just bringing money. You're also bringing this and this and this. They say, okay, fine. You're having you're negotiating.
You're not begging.
You're not begging. You're negotiating and they're chasing you with their money. Some other persons would abandon building, will abandon growth, will abandon sales, and they're chasing investor. Some others are building, are scaling, are growing. Investors are chasing them. So what type of business do you want to be? And when investors are chasing you, you're sitting at the other side of the table where you have upper hand at negotiation. So when you cut to negotiation, that is where you are supposed to be. I've worked with businesses, I've spoken with founders who has given out so much equity, they've given out so much, so much ownership in their business that if they're going to do the next round, you hear cases where you built this business from scratch and then investors have taken over. You have given out so much equity because you started raising too fast. So I also even teach them, there's a point in your business where you don't even need to raise. Build, have traction, so that you have what to negotiate with. You have the upper hand at the negotiation table, so that the investor is not asking for 50% with 20,000 USD and you take over 50% of your business. So a lot of founders abandon building and chase investors, whereas some build and investors are the ones chasing them.
When we say startup fail in business in Africa, especially in the tech space, what does that mean? That this startup, because me, I don't understand it. For me, as a guy in the street, I know if money is coming in, we're doing something. But I've also seen businesses that have raised money, selling products, and they still fail. Just explain that. I don't get it straight.
So for me, when businesses fail, when startups fail, when companies collapse, fail, pack up, it starts and ends with the founder, the management team. When they say, we are done, we are done. When the founder say, I'm done, I'm done. When the management team say, we have failed, we have failed. So it starts and ends with them. Because I've studied businesses that were in operation for years, they weren't profitable. They still somehow, retrace, found their whatever along the way. I studied businesses that started with one idea. They later changed to another one, pivoted to another one. They still found their way. I started businesses who started without the right strategies along the line. So at the point when the founder said, I don't think I can move ahead. I don't think so. That's why I said it starts and ends with the founder. So by the point where you say I don't think we can do this. You have your key management, take your decisions, have your meetings and say, we're not doing again. Let's pack up, let's wrap up. And you file for bankruptcy, you sack everybody, you close this thing up. You pack up the whole thing. But there are a lot of things that, of course, I can contribute to it. A lot of things contribute to startup failure.
Is mental health a part of it? Of the founder?
To a large extent, yes. So I tell my founders, please take care of yourself even as you're building. Entrepreneurship is tough. Entrepreneurship is difficult. Entrepreneurship in Africa is tougher. The entrepreneurship in Nigeria,
Something else.
no one is on a different level. So I tell my founders, I tell entrepreneurs that I work with, please take care of yourself. One of the key things that that affects businesses, that even lead to startup failure. If you go to startup graveyard, you see a lot of reasons. One of them is founders' disagreement.
Explain that.
Co-founders disagreement. You're always quarreling with your co-founder. You have problems you can't resolve. You're quarreling, you have issues. Director say this one say that. You cannot trust your co-founder, this one, that one. When these issues go for a long time. So please, as you're building, so that can even come in the part where you're setting in, you're putting together your documentation, your legal and all of that. But then if you have unresolved issues, you as a founder, your mental health, your physical health, you come for meetings, you can't think straight, it's also affected to a very large extent. So it's also one of the things that contribute to startup failure. Lack of systems, lack of operation, lack of processes, lack of strategy, lack of, too many things. You have products that, you can't sell. So there's this thing I've seen with founders a lot. They fall in love with an idea, with their idea, with the concepts. You've tested this cannot work. This cannot work. But in your head, it works. One of the things I'll ask them is, are you building this for yourself? Or are you building it for people out there? So when the person you're building this solution for, you've tested it, and they don't want to buy, or they won't give you money for this, or they tell you, no, this does not, it doesn't solve our problem, and you're insisting on it, we must solve this problem. You take it to market, it will fail. You come back, reiterate, your team is asking you, we can change this, you can. So you may start up with a bad idea. You may start up with the bad system, the bad operation, the bad structure, but if you have the ability to fall back at every point in time, sit down, re-strategize, look at what is working, take out what is not working, undo. It mustn't be because you close your eyes and you saw it, you had this vision and you hold on to it. No. You can always come back, reiterate, change, edit, remove, take out, But you have to be open-minded. I was telling my team something. We were pulling out something at some point, one of our space. We were moving into a new space. And they brought out the early, the first model of our solar boot. And I was looking at it. I was thinking to myself, what were we thinking when we built this thing?
Is it the engineering aspect or?
The physical, the aesthetic, everything about the product. We're like, wires were hanging everywhere. But at the time when we built it, it was one in a million. We were feeling like geniuses and engineers and all of that. But I looked at it and and what we have now is even far more better, far more beautiful, works
But are you
better.
no longer proud of that startup stage?
So I don't regret doing that.
Okay.
Because, of course, it's what led to what we have now. But I didn't hold on to it. Because if I had held on to it and said, no, this is my baby, I love this idea, I can't change it, there are better, your competitors are doing way better. People are churning out beautiful, far more. You think you have the best idea. Wait until you hear someone else. Wait until you enter a room and people are blowing ideas and you're like, you feel like a dumb, you feel, So I looked at it, I'm like, what are we? So as an entrepreneur, you have to be open-minded. You have to be open-minded. You have to move with the wave, move with the time. You are always, when I talk with entrepreneurs, they tell me, my research is not my thing. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to fall in love with research. You design this today, you're researching. How is the market moving? How is the industry changing? You come back and reiterate. Change what you have, change it to something better that will serve the market. The customer is the king. They have the final say because you're collecting their money and you're selling to them. So if we had held on to that and said, no, people will go for better options. There are lots of other beautiful options. We changed. It was not working. We made a new version. That one was not working. We made a new version. So as the market is growing, the customers' tastes are changing. We are meeting up. We are changing as it's changing. As the market is changing, we are shifting. We are changing. We are moving. We want to sell. And we are always studying customer behavior, shift in buying behavior, all of that. We want their money. So we study them and we build what they like.
Meaning you build for the customers, not for your passion.
Exactly. You
Wow.
build, you design, you create for the customers, not one. And this is a whole new conversation altogether. It's a whole new conversation. Because when we say build for the customer, it's also a different thing altogether because you can so there's this thing we do we call problem validation, solution validation. You have an idea, you think this will sell, you test the market, you build a solution, you think this will sell, you test the market. Now you can ask some customers, do you think you will buy this? And they'll tell you yes. And you build it and they don't buy. Let me give you an instance. I once worked with this business that they had this this beautiful idea on how to solve agricultural produce, waste from agricultural produce. And they designed solar code systems, freezers for one rural community like that. So when they started out, they did, so by the time we met them at this stage. So we met them at the stage where the idea was failing, people were not buying. So we started talking with the founder. He said, no, but we did, we asked questions. We asked the customer what they wanted. They said this. We asked them, if we build this for you, will you buy? They said yes. If I come up to you and ask you, I have this thing, if I give it to you, will you buy? You might tell me yes. You have an idea. So a lot of times I tell people, see, the customer you're building for may not even know what his or her problem is. They have an idea of what they think their problem is. So ask questions that they won't tell you yes or no.
Okay.
So don't ask yes and no when you're doing your validation. Don't ask yes and no question. You may not get the right answer at that point. So they built this system. When they installed it, people were not buying. Why? So we went back to do the problem validation, and we found out that selling off, code, preserving those produce was not the problem. The problem was market access. Because if they had access to off-takers, if they had access to market, they will sell off. They won't have need to preserve. So when they sell off, they won't have something to preserve. It was market linkage that was the actual problem. But when you ask them, they said, when you ask them, when the team asked them, they said, yes, we can buy, this is this. So even when you're doing your validation, there is a system to that. There's a strategy to it. How to ask the right question, how to get the right answer, how to find out the right problems to solve, to create solutions, and solve for. So when you can go on and they tell you, oh yes, if you solve this for us,
That's
we
a
will
brilliant
buy.
idea. I love
It's
it.
brilliant, it's beautiful. And the worst thing you can do is to ask family and friends. Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't make that mistake. You're my friend. If I tell you I want to do this, there are 90% chance you tell me, this is beautiful. This is
Brilliant.
the chances that you buy from me is slim.
Even though I said yes.
Ask from people who would buy from you without any emotion attached.
And people who will not just use, people who will pay money.
Who will give you money in exchange. I had this senior friend who told me, Chiemela, I started a fashion business that I regretted. It was a disaster. Everyone around me told me, you have a good fashion sense. Start a fashion brand. You have a good this, you have that. I started it. Family and friends bought the first day. They did not buy again. The business collapsed. Every month, every single thing I invested in that business collapsed.
Wow.
Because I didn't even have I just started because they told me, you have this, you have that. So family and friends, there's what I call the mom test. So they're even the right people to ask. They're not even the right people to ask. Go out. People who buy repeats, like who will give you money in exchange for that solution, who will give you without any emotion, who wake up in the morning and think of you and buy.
And this work with something somebody said, Booking.com, he said, other people build good products, take it to the market, try to sell it worldwide. We build basic products, take it to the customers, they will tell us what to improve on it. Instead of we sitting down, finishing the work, and then taking it. So let me ask you this question. When I told you I have an idea of a product we wanted to launch, you told me to go and read a book, Lean Startup. Why that book? Why do you think it's important in this generation?
Okay, so the Lean Startup is a great book. It's a wonderful book. I would always recommend for everyone who wants to build a startup. So when I say entrepreneurship is hard, it's really hard, and it's not something that entrepreneurship will take everything from you. It will take Monday you're a millionaire. By the end of Monday you're a kobonia. And it's not something you want to do flying blind. It's not something you want to do. You put in your life savings, everything. So the concept of lean model, lean startup, is that you get to use minimal resources.
Okay.
So I've watched founders, I've watched entrepreneurs who build, businesses. You have these ideas, this concept in your head. You don't even know if it will work, but you've paid a developer 5 million of your savings to build prototype of that software. You don't know if it will work. You don't know if people will buy. By the time you finish building and you take it to market and nobody buy, 5 million naira is gone. Otilo is gone. But if you understand the lean concept, and how to go minimal, especially on resources, that is what I call the minimum viable experiment, even before you get to minimum viable product. So you build a minimum viable experiment, and that concept allows you to take your customers along with you on that journey. That's what I call the co-creation journey. So if I have a solution that you would buy from, assuming you're my customer. So there's a way to, of course, to do the customer identification, customer discovery journey, where you get to understand people who will buy from you. Is a whole research on its own. You understand their behavior, you understand everything, the problem. Now, you are my customer. I'll take you on this journey. I build, first of all, what I call the minimum viable experiment. I get to understand what are your problems. If I try to solve this problem for you with this, will you be able to buy this? So the first time I'm coming to you, I'm not even coming to you with, will you buy? I want to understand the problem. I'm not asking you yes or no question. I'm asking you open-ended question. I want to understand the pain point, because what you tell me is your problem, not even be the actual problem. So as you're answering those open-ended questions, I'm taking out the pain point. I'm taking out the problem parts, that you need that you need the solution for. So when I identify you and you are my customer, I've taken you through that customer discovery journey. As I start building this, first with the experiment, I take it to you, you give your feedback. I get your feedback, you test it, you move to the minimum viable product. So you can, of course, now with the help of AI, you can even test run that idea with, you can go to Lovable, Vibe Code, test that idea, build that product.
See what it looks like.
See what it looks like, get them to use it. See before you start committing. So that's the concept of a lean model, because entrepreneurship takes a lot from you: money, time, resources. I've worked with entrepreneurs who invested so much. Yes, they spent over 2 years, 3 years, resources, time, building ideas that when it was time to launch, there was nobody to build for, there was nobody to buy.
Okay.
And all of those resources, all of those sacrifices were wasted.
Gone.
So that's the concept of starting lean. Starting lean, growing lean,
You
scaling
see everything
lean.
ahead.
You build with the customer, you test, you experiment, you come, you take feedback, you come back. So you don't spend so much. You see, it's not a do or die affair. You test it, it's not for you. Entrepreneurship is not for you, it's not working. It didn't day. You close it. You go back to 9 to 5.
Okay.
You start with that idea, it's not working. You iterate, you come back, you change it. The first idea we had for one of my companies, for Solaries, the first idea we started for is not even what we are doing what we are doing currently.
What was it first?
The first idea was to build, solar kiosks we take to schools, to rural communities and all of that. We've changed. If you were with us when we started 2019, 2020, 2021,
it's a whole different business
now. It's a different. So it's foolishness to hold on to something that is not working, and you're expecting magic to happen somehow. The customers are not buying. You're holding on to it. The market is shifting. You're holding on to it. So you start lean, you experiment, you take feedback, you come back, you edit, you change, you move ahead. So always be open-minded, be open to these things, and spend, that's the whole idea of the lean concept. You spend little resources, you test, you achieve more, you come back, you change. When it's time for you to go full scale, all out, you do that. So you don't burn out, you don't burn your resources and all of that.
There's something you're passionate about, how businesses could last longer. Tell me about that.
Okay, for me, this is something I'm so particular about. I don't want to I don't like the way people throw the word passion around, okay. But, I'm just so particular about this. I want to see Africans, I want to see Nigerians, build homegrown businesses that will outlive the first generation, the second generation. So I want to build businesses that will outlive me. I want to build businesses that my children will inherit, that people would inherit, that would run, that will stand the test of time, that will live for 100 years, for a century. So I did one of my first MBA program. We studied a lot of businesses that have lived for 150 years. That have lived for 50 years.
In Africa?
No, not in Africa.
Oh, not in Africa. Okay. Do you think it's possible here?
I think it's possible. And it's one of the things that I'm so particular about, I'm so passionate about. Passionate, yes, it's coming out. I'm so passionate about. I want to see us do it. Because, see, the truth is, if you're going to solve the problems in this continent, entrepreneurship is one of the ways, is one of the pathways. I know leadership, I know this, I know that. Let's build businesses. Let's create employment. Let's have Africa as a continent. We have the highest on earth population of young persons. And there are no new jobs. Our government are not creating new jobs.
Okay.
So the continent is relying on us, on entrepreneurs, on businesses. We will create those jobs. We'll build those businesses.
Okay.
We'll build the African economy. So everybody is looking up to us. That's why I love working with businesses, with entrepreneurs, because I know that the entire continent is relying on us
to do something.
And we will achieve that when we stop building businesses that would die the day you die. We'll achieve that when we start building businesses that would outlive you. So as growing up, I saw my mom do business. In fact, I have a lot of examples. We parked in one neighborhood. At the time we got there, that was 1998, 1999. This man had a booming business. He had factories. In fact, he was you can't live there and you wouldn't know Mr. Tobias. when the man, of course, you get to a point where your strength will fail you. There was nobody to inherit that business. The whole thing died. Those factories, everything.
Come on.
They sold out the containers, everything. My mom's business, it wasn't a big business, but then she was doing so well. She was at least, she was doing so well. The day my mom fell sick, everything collapsed.
Just a day.
Everything collapsed. And that business was feeding a lot of persons. That business was employing 1 or 2 persons. The day she couldn't do that business again, all those jobs were lost. That's economic activity, that money. Like, you know how you do business, money is circulating in the economy. Everything stopped. So I want to see us build businesses that even when you're sick, you go on a vacation, those businesses would outlive the founders. Those businesses, the founders will come and go. Those businesses are still running. They are still in operation. I started businesses like that. Businesses that the first generation started the businesses are nowhere to be. They are long dead and gone. They moved to the second generation, to the third generation. The businesses are still in existence.
Innovating.
We are still buying from them. We don't even know the people that started it. I want to see us build such businesses in Nigeria, in Africa. And one of the things I've been doing is to learn those businesses, to study them. Travel is one thing I do. I do a lot. I travel a lot. So when I get opportunity to be in those countries, visit those businesses, I want to ask questions around how were you able to do this? What did you do differently? Was it succession plan? How did you set it up?
So far, what have you seen these guys doing in Europe and America that we're not doing here in Africa?
So from the things I've gathered, the research, of course, I'm still doing that research. Okay. I'm still building that research because one of the things I want to do is learn, implement here, gather those research, and then see what we can learn from those research. So one of the things I've seen so far is the succession plan.
Succession plan, okay.
Succession plan. They start, they build, they grow, they scale with a clear-cut succession plan. Second is structure. When I see business consultants, shout structure, shout operations and all of that, it's as though they are screaming. They are not. You can't scale. You can't build something that will outlive you without structure. And when we talk of structure, it's not those plenty English we speak.
Okay.
When we talk of succession plan, it's not those plenty English we speak. I started one family business that I think they've been here for the past 100 years. It's a family business. Ideally, when we say family business, you start envisioning struggles and quarrels and conflicts.
Yes.
And one of the things that struck my interest, this is one of the reasons I started studying them, because how were you able to manage these conflicts? How are you able to? See, they had these things in place. They had this, who manages this? Who says this? Who controls this? How do we have board meetings? Before you take this, who do you go through? So it's not because it's a family business. My wife can come in and take money anytime and leave. My son can come in and, even your son has people they report to. So wow. It was so surprising. I'm like, this is beautiful. So when you see them shout structure, when you see them shout this and this, I've worked with some businesses, and I tell there was this one business we worked with, and the man is, because he's wealthy, he has had this business for over 10 years now, and I told him, sir, we're going to start this, we're going to do this structure thing, we'll pay you salary, you get an accountant.
And he said, no.
He said, in my business,
you pay me salary.
You pay me salary. How? I want to take money. I'm taking permission from accountants. How? I'm raising memo. I'm doing this. You're telling me this one, that one. So these are some of the things I saw. These are some of the things that I'm like, if we're ready to start building businesses that will outlive us, we need to start putting these things in place. The right system, the right structure, the right succession plan, the things that these guys did, we need to start. Because, see, Africa, Nigeria, I'm an Igbo girl. And we are known for trade. We are known for building businesses. But have you ever asked yourself, how come Emeka and Son's businesses, Emeka dies, son will fold the business? I studied these guys. They don't do these things with emotion. If Emeka is not capable to inherit that business, they will not give it to Emeka. Not because Emeka is my son. If a maker doesn't have what it takes to run that business, they will get professionals who understands the business and understand what it takes to run that business. If a maker is running that business, there are professionals, there are board of directors that are holding a maker accountable. That is why you hear stories like, I'm the CEO, I'm the founder, and then the board of directors will sack you from your own business, because there is a management team that holds you responsible. So you don't wake up one day, come to work one morning, you look at your reception, I don't like the color of your face, you are fired or you are sacked, or I want to go for vacation, you put your hand inside your company money, take out 50 million and go for vacation. So there are processes, there are systems, there are structures, there are ways these things are done.
From day one.
And if we're going to start building businesses that will outlive us, we need to start doing it the right way. And one of the things I also noticed that, people don't like restraint, people don't like discipline, people don't like when you're telling them to do this, don't do that. I run businesses. My accountant will ask me, Ma, what's the economic value of this investment? What's this thing we're about
how does it feel when she asks you that?
This thing we're about to spend on, what's the economic value? As a person, I built this thing from scratch. Somebody I employed is asking me economic value of what I want to spend with my own money. It stinks.
So let me pick up on that. There is this, you as an entrepreneur is expanding. Your accountant or your manager is contrasting, trying to hold everything down. But you're looking at the big thing you want to build. I also know that this is a major concern for startups. So when you put all this system in place, they have venture capital who is monitoring their expenditures and everything. In fact, most venture capitalists will bring in somebody, CFO or somebody to the system. So it looks like the vision is no longer growing big. The excitement they came in with, these financial people are cutting it down. How can you manage that when you are trying to expand and grow?
Okay, that's actually a beautiful question. And for every entrepreneur listening to me, you should have that person in your team. Yes. You should have that. See, entrepreneurship comes with this excitement.
Yeah.
There are days I wake up, I want to do this, I want to do that, let's spend on this, let's do this. So, see, one of the things you do as a founder, as a CEO, think of ways of making new money for your business.
Come on,
think of new partnerships. Think of new investments. Think of way of bringing in new deals. Have somebody in your team that is thinking of ways of cutting down expenditure. If you have your team, your people should be thinking of way of reducing expenses. So you should have that person in your team who is thinking of, no, sir, let's cut it down like this. Let's cut down this budget. Let's look at it this way. However, you should also be able to learn how to manage them. And that is where training comes in. So you can't be the CEO, you can't be the founder, you have this big vision, and your team doesn't understand the big vision.
But how about the clashing that happens?
So this is where it happens. If my accountant doesn't understand where we are going to, if we tell her we need to branch into Abuja or we need to open a branch in Kano, and she doesn't understand that our vision, somewhere along the way, we need to do this expansion, we'll contrast at that point. We'll have conflict. But if she understands the vision with you, if she understands that we need to expand, Q2 we are expanding into Kano, Q3 we are expanding into Abuja, what she starts thinking is, what's the most economical, the way my accountant puts it, what's the most economical way, for us to do this and still achieve our vision, but we don't have to spend so much. So we still achieve. So you grow with your team. Those visions in your head, you communicate it to your team. You grow with them. So that you're not thinking A, your team is thinking F. You want to run. You want to fly. They want to crawl. So you should communicate to them and bring them up to speed. But you should have someone in your team who is also, who is also the economical one, the economical person, who also look at, plan A, plan B, plan C, even your plan A will have plan A and plan C. So that as you're speeding, there is someone who has your caution timer and, trying to put, but you should bring your team up to speed. They should be at your vision level so that nobody stalls you. Nobody, because of course this thing comes with, there's this passion, this excitement it comes with. So nobody on your team should be, as you're hot, the person is pouring code on you and all of that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Now let's look at the angle of branding and marketing. I know I've had this conversation with you in the past where you don't believe they show off people do on the internet. But I've also seen you in recent time coming online. I know you have a set of people you coach in their thousands, but I've also seen you doing something on the internet. So do you think branding and communicating online is relevant? Just like Elon Musk is doing, Donald Trump and all of these guys, Elumelu is doing. Look at startups and look at visibility. Do you think it's something they need?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. You know, when we started, I mentioned one of the key skills every entrepreneur, you want to grow and scale, in this journey, is being open-minded.
Okay.
Open-minded. Your ability to learn fast, to adapt. Now, the way our fathers, our forefathers built businesses is different.
Okay.
The worst thing you can do to yourself is to hold on to an ideology that is long gone.
Gone, yeah.
There is nowhere to be found. And you said, no, this was how my father did it. I'm going to do it. The word of work has changed. It's changing. The word of entrepreneurship has changed. It's changing. The word as it is.
It's evolving. Yeah.
Is evolving. It's changing. Someone said something. He said, if you want to, Ada is cooking rice and her rice is burning, and you want Ada to go and check on her rice, send her a WhatsApp message. She'll go and she will see it.
She will respond faster from the WhatsApp message than the shouting.
The moment she gets a notification, she will open it. She might miss your call, but she will open her WhatsApp. Now, the same thing applies to building businesses this day. Your customers are online. People who buy from you are online. And with the way the whole thing is moving, people want to trust you. People want to relate with you as the founder. As a lot of founders say, you're build. As a lot of concepts that says, businesses that are built around the founder. There is a point where you step out from the spotlight, but at this stage where you're building, it's important that you meet your customers where they are. And 80% of them are online. Unless you're building something that your customers are not online. Even someone that will refer you to your customer is online.
It's online. Yeah.
Even someone that will buy for your customer is online.
But people say, I feel shy, I can't do this, I don't feel like an authority because I'm a startup founder.
Okay.
I'm not yet an authority in this field to come and start talking about it.
You don't have to be an authority. It's even doing it that makes you an authority.
Oh wow. Okay.
You don't have to be an authority to see. There's this thing I run this coaching program, training program, and I tell people, see, if you want to raise funding for your business, you want to raise fund, you want to convince investors, you want to, especially grants, you have to show up. You have to tell people what you're doing. You have to tell them what you are building. You have to show them what you're building. We've raised funding. We've raised money for my businesses from people who are not in Nigeria.
Okay.
We've raised funding from the World Bank, from ECOWAS, Race for Africa Foundation, Enel Green Power, European Investment Bank. And these people are not in Nigeria. My projects are somewhere in Abia State. You think they will travel down to come and see what I'm doing in Aba?
No.
They saw it where? On LinkedIn.
Okay.
They saw it on Facebook. I took it to them.
You took it to them via visibility.
I took it to them. So they want to see what you are doing. They want to see how you are doing it. They want to see that. So when we talk about traction, build traction, where are you going to? You think you not build the traction and you leave it on your phone. You snap those pictures and you leave it on your. If you're building traction, you show us.
Show us.
You show them. You want to raise funding, show them. So when we started that this thing I do where we do a project, I go to LinkedIn, we share it, and I will tag those people, those organizations I know are interested in funding my sector. I would deliberately tag them to the post.
And the likelihood of them seeing it will be higher.
We've gotten a lot of deals from LinkedIn. When Pin Foundation, we did a project with Pin Foundation, they did a story on us, shared it on LinkedIn. We also shared it. We tagged this of this. We got a lot. People came just naturally. They just came to our DM. Say, we saw what you did. We saw the story Pin covered. Can we do this and this and this with you? If we're not on LinkedIn, there is no way BBC will see me and send that message. Wow. There is no way ECOWAS will see me and send that message. If we had completed those where I left, there was no way they would see me. So learn what Learn the shift happening in the market. Learn the trend, study them, and adapt. Your customers are online. Meet them.
Meet them.
Investors want to see what you're doing, and they are online. Take
But
it to
people
them.
people think I'm an introvert. I'm an extrovert. All of those human qualities, and some people say I wasn't born that. I feel like it's bragging when I talk about my number, because I've seen you post $2 million, $1 million, and all that. So, do you have that level of imposter or those things in your head?
I told my team something recently. I said, see, you don't have to feel prepared to start doing these things.
Come on.
You don't have to feel ready to start. A lot of us didn't come from privilege. I know some persons came from families background where your parents will tell you, you are that girl, you can do this,
believe
you
in
can,
you.
you know, you hear those voices in your head. A lot of us, we didn't grow up in such environments. In fact, if for one you grew up in an environment where you never heard anything energizing or anything,
I'm telling you.
you don't need to feel prepared to do this thing. You don't need to hear those voices in your show up. Do it. Introvert, do it.
Do it.
Extrovert,
Do it.
it. Your English is correct. Do
Come
it.
on.
The English is not correct. Take up, do it.
Come on, that's it.
The day you wake up and you are feeling it, do it.
Do it.
The day you wake up and you're not feeling it, still do it. So you don't have to be camera perfect to pose and do it. You know what you want. You know who you're. And a lot of time, the people who buy from you are not even checking your English. The people who would give you money in exchange are not checking the camera quality. You are the one overthinking all of those stuff.
Okay.
It's all happening in your head. Show up, do it, deliver it. Somebody, it will resonate with someone. Somewhere. So you don't have to, do this or do that or no. You don't need all of that.
So you need to show up.
You just need to show up. Show up well. Show up consistently. Show up every day. Do it so well. And as you're doing it, you're mastering it.
Yeah.
You're learning it. You're perfecting it. So if you wait until you become perfect, you won't do it.
Beautiful. Let's talk about, there is one big problem Nigerians are having. People have raised 10 million USD, 2 million USD, 5 million USD, and they still go out of business. And these foreign investors are very skeptical. Bad PR, right? So some of our startups here are legit. But because of the bad names there, it's affecting them. What do you have to tell that young person who just raised money and who is now confused? I've gotten 2 million USD. What else do we do? Buy Lamborghini. What else you raise this money for your startup? So talk to that person.
When you go through our coaching, when you go through my coaching program, even after you finish, so the end goal is not just to raise money.
Okay.
There's post-funding.
Very important.
There's the post-funding journey that I also take you through. So the problem is not even to raise money. There are some businesses that failed because they raised money.
Beautiful.
So there are some persons, there are some entrepreneurs that if you give them 100 million naira now, that business will fold because they don't know what to do. They hire and hire wrong. They scale and scale too fast. They buy assets, they invest, they pivot, they do things that they're not supposed to do. So there are some businesses, if you go to startup graveyard, there's some business, their core failure, the core thing that made them to fail was the money they raised. So post-funding journey is also a thing. So you've raised funding. There should be, even before you raise funding, there was a roadmap, what you want to use this. So it has to be crystal clear.
From the one.
What do you want to use this funding for? You have a plan. When you raise funding, you stick to the plan. You adapt, you reiterate, you do all of this, but you should have a plan. Post-funding plan. So after you've raised funding, because there is capital, there is money in your hand, you employ this one, that one, and
buy your freedom.
You buy everybody, do this one, everybody will do that one. You started lean, you raised funding, continue lean. So how were you doing?
But how would they know we've arrived?
So it's not. So for me, I think it's misplaced priorities.
Okay.
Because for me, the goal of business, the goal of entrepreneurship is not for you to show me that you've arrived. For me, why did I go into business? Why are you running that company? I want to employ thousands of Nigerians, of Africans. I want to contribute to economic growth. My goal of doing business is not that you won't have a comfortable life. My goal of doing business is not for me to buy the latest Lamborghini with investors' money. It's not for me to. It's not for me. So if an entrepreneur, you have a good accountant you're working with, they're always thinking in terms of economical value, assets, investments, this and that. I have this friend who is from Niger, and she was telling me, Chiemela, they own a dairy manufacturing, company and all of that. She was telling me, I won't buy this car. This car can the money I'll use to buy this can get me 100 cows. So she, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, that's how you think. You don't blow your money on things that you know that if I use this money and put into my business, you will get times 10 of that money. You don't eat your seed. So I know that if I take out this money, buy Lamborghini, that same money. So my team will tell me, you're always thinking in manufacturing, production. I'll tell you, this money can give me 1,000 units of these solar kits, these solar kiosks. I'm already doing calculation. If a business person, you should know your numbers. If you should know your numbers like hell.
Wow.
Because if you know your numbers so well, there's some financial decisions you won't make. You know that the money you use to buy this, the money you use to put on this, if you put it into this product or you put it into this, you've done the financial calculation, the calculation in your head. By year 1 or the end of year 2,
We'll be here.
it will give us this. So you will not make such decision. And that is why a lot of investors, after they give you money, they want to have someone from their team
To
sitting on
check
your
you.
board to checkmate your SSs. So post funding, when you've raised that 1 million, that 10 million, is not when you start making all the bad decisions. You have a plan. The way you started it, you have a plan on how to use this funding, how to do this. So you have a financial model. That financial model shows you, if you put this money here, this is where we'll be in year 1, this is where we'll be in year 2. So it puts you in check on how to spend the money you've raised, unless you go back to square one. If you don't have all of these, money is easy to spend. That's the truth.
Wow. So this has been a lot, but I want to talk to somebody who is on the verge of giving up on their startup phase, who didn't know this was going to be like this. I mean, they are confused at this point. They want to throw in the towel, but they've heard you and they feel, oh, I can go back to this. I can do this. What one word do you have for them?
Okay. So personally, I don't know how to do the home motivation thing.
Okay.
I don't know how to do the home motivation thing. I don't like to motivate adults. You should have a lot of things that are motivating you.
Okay.
If no other thing, at least hunger should be motivating you. If you look around you, you have children. You look at your daughter's face, your son's face. I have a little girl, very beautiful little girl. She wants to drink golden morn. She wants to drink this one or eat that one. If I look at her face alone, it's enough motivation. You look at where you're coming from. You look at this. I think every adult should have that intrinsic, inbuilt motivation. Nobody is pushing you around. And because the day you stop hearing my voice, who will take over? Who will start? So I don't like, the homo. So if you're looking for motivation, what I will tell you is this: it does not get easy. I've been an entrepreneur, almost all my adult life. I can tell you for free, it doesn't get easy. As you're coming back from a lot, and you want me to advise you or to motivate you, me is going through a lot. Entrepreneurship is hard. It's difficult. All of us are inside a lot. All of us are going through a lot. And it doesn't get easy. And the funny thing is, there's this saying, this thing they say, to whom much is given, much is expected. You want to scale, you want to grow, you want to raise funding, you want to collect money from investors. As those things are coming, a lot of responsibility, they come with a lot of responsibility. When you were doing 100 million per annum, you had just 2 people to manage. You start doing 100 million per annum, 1 billion per annum, you have 20 people. You think it's easier to manage 20 people to 2 people, to 10 people? You have a factory, a full manufacturing firm with over 1,000 people. You think it doesn't get easy at any point, unless you don't want to grow, unless you want to stay small with your 2 employees. You manage at that point. But as you're growing and scaling, it doesn't get easy at any point in time in this entrepreneurship journey. Because somebody said something, a senior friend, I respect her so much. She asked, does entrepreneurship and peace of mind miss? I told her, Auntie Jane, peace of mind is of the Lord. The Lord will give you peace of mind. But you see this journey, there is no, because as you're coming out from one court case, your supplier, your
but some people are like, they are wired to do that. They are wired to build. They can handle it. Is that they've been trained to?
You build the toughness, the mental strength to take it.
Okay.
You build it over time. You see, there are things that don't shock me now. There are stories that you tell me you just shut down one of our factories, or you just confiscated, they held this one. I have goods worth millions coming on sea. This one, I will eat and sleep. I'll wake up tomorrow and will strategize.
But what if the investors' money are on stake in this situation? How do you handle that?
I'll still eat and sleep and wake up. We'll think of, so there's this thing, if an investor is putting money into your business, they know it's a 50-50 chance. That this business will crumble. I will do my best.
Okay.
We'll work hard. We'll build, because I want to scale that business. I want to build that business. Will I keep myself? No. I will eat, sleep, wake up. We'll think of new ways of solving that problem. So one thing I will tell every entrepreneur is to take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. If you need to take out time, reset, eat, take care of your health.
Let me ask you a question along the line. So balance, there's something they call work-life balance. So you see an entrepreneur in Dubai who started the same year with you in Nigeria. So that person is in the beach every Friday, Saturday. Okay. And then you two are in Nigeria, you're in Lagos. Okay. How do you put those two things together? They say balance with your children, play with them, watch movie, go for movie night. As a startup, not a big guy now.
Honestly, I don't think it will work for you.
Okay.
I don't think it will work for you. And the reason is, so let's play out the scenario. Someone who is running a business, entrepreneurship is difficult everywhere. We must acknowledge that fact. But for someone who is building a business out of America, out of Dubai, and for someone who is building a business out of Lagos, out of Aba, Abia State, these two ecosystems are different. Okay. Because I've established businesses, some of the one or two of this country, I can tell you for free that the ecosystem, the atmosphere, everything is different. It's more like you're doing something, you're doing a business in one environment or one ecosystem where everything is working in your favor. Everything is working together for your good, working together to see you succeed. You're building and growing from another environment, another ecosystem, where it looks as though everything is working together to see you fail.
Okay.
Everything is working against you. Almost everything. So you start from establishing the business, from setting up. There's this country that there are poaching entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs to come and set up businesses in their country. Build. I wouldn't call the name of the country. To come and set up and build. And the first day we had a conversation with them, we were rolling out all of the packages, from setting up the registration. So you set up, from setting up the registration, they have packages, things you can opportunity, some of the
virtually.
You can virtually, and then when you set up, they have office space, co-work space that can give you access for a year up to 2 years, and there are some packages and some of the things, that all these, do financing, put your legal house in place, put your finances, your operation of this. They are coming with the registration package. It's a package. Okay. They are attaching you with people who will do legal for you, people who will do financing.
Built to scale. Yeah. Just to help businesses.
You're doing it on your own. Or to do registration, you do like this. You want to do create accounts, open accounts, even the accounts you're managing, you're doing like this.
To get loan,
do like this. You want to do your sector regularization, you move from this office to this office, this person will call you, do this one. So how do you think you will do the same thing that this person is doing? This person is taking vacations every week. You want to take vacation. One lion is chasing you.
It will shock you.
You have 100 lions chasing you.
Chasing you.
So you know that it won't work. It can't. It cannot. It cannot work. So here you are working as though your life depends, because it does.
So where do I achieve this? Because we see Femi Otedola, one of my inspirations. He is there in Dubai or in UK cruising life. And this looks like the entrepreneurship goal, which most people never get to achieve in their lifetime.
So the thing is, of course, everything that there are times and seasons for, of course, everything on the surface of the earth. So there is time for everything. There is a point you grow to. You can step out of the business and nothing will happen to it.
There is growth and structure. Okay.
There is structure, there is system, there are processes in place. You can step out, you can take vacations, you can do this, you can rest, and nothing will happen. Do you get? Nothing would happen, nothing will crumble, no decision need you don't need to micromanage, do all of that. So at that point, yes. But even as you're building that business, like I said, still learn to take care of yourself. Still learn to take care of yourself. And then learn to prioritize. At this point in your business, you're still testing the idea. Will it work? This is not even the time for you to start taking vacation.
So how do you balance it? How do you rest? Like, what do you do to
There is no balance. so that's the truth. There is no balance to this thing. What is balance? Me, I prefer taking it one at a time. Rest when I can. Do the things I can do when I can. Is there a balance to this? I don't know. I've not. If you're an entrepreneur, you're out there, you found work-life balance. Please come and teach me. I've not found. I just prioritize. I manage my energy. I manage my time. I do what I need to do by time. See, entrepreneurship is different from 9 to 5.
Okay. Wow.
9 to 5 is 9
There's a guarantee.
5. You work 9 to 5. You leave. You go back and rest. You take holidays. You take breaks.
Take leave.
Entrepreneurship, there is no 9 to 5. There is 6 to 6. Round clock. There is 7 a.m. to 12 a.m.
But people make argument to say that it is people work like that because they've not built structure, or because they are overwhelming, that they don't have system. That's why they do that.
No.
You mean it's not true?
No, it's not.
Okay.
See, this structure thing does not mean that you set up structure and you run away or you go and sleep.
Okay.
No. You can't leave your business for people now. See, what all this structure stuff, what does it entail? So structure for me means that I don't have to do the day-to-day operation. I don't have to take the product, sell to the customer, record inventory, do this. So there is a system for how we bring in product, how product leaves, how we take record, how we document sale. This is structure. Does it mean that you will stop working? No.
They see something you'll be doing.
You can't.
Come on.
You don't stop working. So you don't see this a lot of these world billionaires. They build this one, they will start up and start another one. There is no ending to this thing. So you don't leave.
It's not greediness to keep doing that.
No, see, you do this over time. You do this for 50 years. This is the only thing you know how to do.
Come on.
Building is the only thing you know how to do. So you exit this company, you build another one. You exit. So you see these people that tell you, my dream is after exiting, I'll be in a golf, I'll be in one golf place playing golf and doing.
Let me.
You get to that point, you want to build another one. So just on the structure question, you don't structure and run away. You structure and.
So you structure to buy more time to do other things.
You structure, buy more times to do things that you're supposed to do, which is bringing more deal.
Yeah.
Speaking to more stakeholders, ideating, strategizing. I did a program in South Africa. One of the trainers, he told us, he said, as a founder, you step out of the dancing floor. You step out of you're doing more of strategy. You're the one dictating what the DJ will play.
Yeah.
The tone they dance to, the dancing style, what they will wear. And to tell you, that thinking part is the most difficult part. That ideating part, that strategizing part is the most difficult, and you can't hire someone to do that for you.
But at some point, you have to be in the dancing floor and the thinking floor together. At some point in your business.
No, if you're in the dance floor and the thinking flow, it means that you just created a 9 to 5 for yourself.
Okay.
So this is where the structure part comes in.
From day one.
So from day one you're doing it. You're doing all of this. You're dancing. You're doing DJ. You're doing this one. In fact, from day one you're the CMO. You're the CFO. You do this one. You market. You do video. You shoot. You sell. You do all of that. But as time goes on, your core, the things you are supposed to do, like I said, ideating, growth, scale, strategizing, fundraising, meeting investors, and these things are a lot. So you need to be able to create systems enough that will allow other persons to do the operations, the day-to-day activities. So you're not actively dancing. You're out there bringing in more deals. You are out there redesigning, restructuring. You're thinking, how do we move from A to B, from B to C, from C to Z? So you're doing all of that, yes.
Beautiful. I want us to talk about funding opportunities in Africa. I mean, I know you are big in this. So people have brilliant ideas, but they don't know where to get funds. So how do people get funds? Are there platforms they can come in, WhatsApp group, any community? Just walk us through.
So funding for African businesses, I tell businesses this a lot, I tell entrepreneurs this a lot. We don't have a funding problem.
Okay.
We don't have a capital problem. The problem we have is fundability problem.
Fundability.
Businesses who are not fundable. So people meet me every day. People send me DMs. They tell, Coach, I want to raise funding. Coach, I want to do this. I want to get grant. I have a community of entrepreneurs, where we share opportunities almost every day. Opportunities, grants, fully funded trips. They are everywhere there. So when you meet me and I send you this opportunity to go and apply for and get funding for your business, you think funding is your problem. Go and get funding for your business. This is opportunities. Open. Go and get it for your business. You come back and you tell me, they're asking for detailed reports. I don't know what it is. They're asking for TCC. They're asking for PENCON. They're asking for HR policy. They're asking for this. I don't know what it is. So who is the problem? Capital or the business?
The business.
So we don't have a capital problem. What we have is a problem of businesses that cannot raise funding. Businesses that cannot access funding. When we started Mezoa, one of my businesses, we started with the main goal of assessing, just linking businesses to capital.
Okay.
Because there is surplus of capital.
Surplus. Anybody can access it.
You can access, so far as your business can access funding, you're building something that is scalable, something that employs people, something that is contributing to economic growth, something that is somehow addressing any of the SDG goals, you can raise funding.
Wait, let me ask you something. Do I need structure before raising money, or do I need to raise money and go and build structure?
Beautiful. Interesting question. Now, you don't have to be fully, structure is a journey, is a process.
It's a journey, okay.
Yes. It's not something you just do one-off and, just do one-way activation or subscription. Even as I'm building and growing my businesses, there are still some things that I know that are not fully in place, that I'm still putting in place. But there are some basic things you need to do before you ever think of raising funding. Remember I said, gone are those days where people just give you money for your idea. You can still raise money, you can still raise funding to fund ideas, but you have to be doing something. Let me give you an instance. We did a project with UNIDO, and they were funding a new idea. But we're already doing something. So because we're already doing something, they trusted that because we have done this, we can do this.
Yeah.
But if you've not done anything in time, it's difficult to raise funding, especially grant, equity, anything. Now, there are some basic things that you need to do before you ever think of approaching any investor or any impact donor, raising grant. That business should come out first as an idea in your head. You need to have physical product, or a physical product can be physical, it can be software. That business should be registered. That business should have its own separate bank account. That business should have some foundational documentation. You have 2 co-founders, 3 co-founders, you should have co-founders agreement. You have shareholders, you should have shareholders agreement. You have employees, you should have offer letters, employee agreement, NDAs, confidentiality agreement. These are some of the basic things you need to do. You have products, you should start selling. You should have processes on how you sell. So if an investor is coming in and person, walk me through your processes, walk me through your numbers, you should understand your numbers. You should understand what comes in as revenue, what goes out as expenses, profits.
Very basic.
These are the basic things before we even go to all the other ones. These are the basic things that you should know. But we see business owners, you just sort of that business, you can just do CAC, Nemreg, and
you're done. You hang it on your wall. So let me ask you the most controversial question on the internet today is Nigerians being unemployable. So we've had top business owners who say, oh, I can't work with Nigerians. We have people with energy. We also have people that looks like they are unemployable, not because they don't need job, but it's a struggle. So startup is almost like a disadvantaged platform. If you don't raise your fund, you can't hire the best because you cannot afford them. And the best wants to see future. And your idea is just in your head. So how were you able to get the best of the best to scale this in before you even raise fund?
Okay. So that's actually very controversial. Nigerians and unemployability and all of that. And I remember having this conversation with our entrepreneurs in our community. And I told them something. I told them, somebody said this is food for thought. See, the best of the best, whichever way we want to put it, in Nigeria are all employed.
Are all employed. Whoa.
They are employed. The best are not looking for jobs. I said that.
So you have to pull them out.
I said that. People are even poaching for the best. See, I've been in this development space for a while now. We've done projects around this. We've done research. I can tell you for a fact. This is not, yes, people will come, they will come for you, they will shout, they will scream and all of that. Let me give you an instance. We did one project. It was an engineering project. We worked with Royal Academy of Engineering. We called it Engineering for Industry. Royal Academy of Engineering and some other, very top engineering companies. And we're trying to close that gap. We're wondering, why is it that Nigeria will graduate, tons of engineers every year? But a lot of them are not, they're not finding jobs. They're not, these engineering companies are not employing them. So what we did was we brought together academia, the industry, all of that. We're having conversations, we're doing research. One of the things the industry said, we brought industry leaders. They said, the engineer people are producing, we cannot employ them.
Why?
The things they are learning in school. One of them said something, said, we've outgrown
those things.
We've grown past those things. We're not doing those manual stuff. The world of work has changed. We're doing digital manufacturing. We're doing additive manufacturing. We're using CNC machines, laser cutting, 3D printers. And these children leave school, they don't learn of these things. So how do you expect? I run a solar company. I've employed some graduates from some top Nigerian, from Nigerian universities, first class graduates, electrical electronics, who cannot identify a charge controller.
That is not an engineer, you can identify.
We work with this, like you should know. They've not seen it. They read these things in book. They've not seen it. So when people come out and say, most Nigerians are not employable, and people are screaming and shouting and saying, this, that, please go back and do your research. Go back and do research. So don't play emotion. Don't apply emotion to this. Go and do research. Go and do research. Ask questions. Do these things. Yes, we don't have jobs. Yes, but then we hired. I told my team, we'll start a podcast where we do justice for employers.
Wow. Not for employees.
Not for employees, for employers. We are going through a lot. Me and you are inside this Nigeria that is hard. And you know how hard it is to be in this economy.
Okay.
We are spending resources, we are spending money. We employ you, we train you, we take months. You take like 3 months, 6 months to learn on the job, and I'm paying you. And there is no return. Me and you is inside this Nigeria. And you're telling me, give you time, do this.
Mental health.
I'm also an employer. I'm spending money. I'm burning resources. As you want me to pity you, still pity me. You know, and if you put a lot of employers, I'm not trying to say, I know there are some worse, you know, some companies you can't work in, you can't do this. I consult for some international organizations, and I can also tell you for free that the way they treat you is also different from the way a lot of employers here will treat you.
Okay.
So I'm in the middle, because I've been an employee, I'm an employer. I still consult for some of these, you know, organizations, and I also know the way they treat me. You know, but then I'm also speaking from this angle. We spend a lot of organizations spend a lot training people, and if we're going to trace this, the employers, a lot of time, most employers are not even to blame. You don't blame. We will take it back to our education system. They're the ones that are churning out people that we cannot employ. They're the ones that are producing people that they can't identify a mouse and the controller and the circuit breaker and this. So yes, a lot of Nigerians are not employable.
Wow.
And a lot of employers are spending a lot training
people. And those people still leave after a month or two. This is good. This is good. Guys, we've come a very long way. If you're just joining here, I want you to go back to the beginning. Feel free to ask questions in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe. There is another video up here that I want you to watch. It's a podcast I did just a few days ago, and the businessman blew me away. I want you to go and learn. The goal here is not just to learn, it's to stay motivated and then take action. The journey is too long. You need this kind of conversations to help you build something. This probably going to be one of the best conversations we've had on this platform, and don't miss the next episode because it will blow your mind. Thank you, Chiemela, for coming around. I really appreciate it. All right, thank you.